Okay, hi Elder. You invited me to JavaONE session last year, which was full. There were lots of speakers, lots of questions. My question to you is, what was your road to Java EE? So obviously the session was about Java EE, but what I'm curious is why at all you are interested in Java EE?
Well, actually, I have been working with Java for almost 20 years, and with Java EE for like 15 years maybe. And what I have been seeing since then is that Java EE is pretty stable. Uh, Although many claim that it's not so fast to bootstrap, but once you have your environment set, it's pretty affordable to have a good performance. The APIs today are very mature, very evolved. So I really enjoy because you can rely, you have options to see to use any application server that you want. All of them are very very modern today. So yeah, I really enjoy Java EE. I have tried many other technologies through my career, and I have chosen to use Java EE, and I'm happy about it.
Yes, but what you said, it actually sounds boring, right? Everything is
Yeah,
stable, everything works, and you like it. So usually developer will hate such a thing. They say, okay, I download and it just works. So why you like boring stuff, let's say, or mature stuff? Why you are excited about that?
yeah, because we are talking about enterprise development. Enterprises really need those kind of boring because they need to know that when they deploy the application, it will really have a good performance. It will not being stopped every time, new deployment. It will scale up, scale down if you need. You can build a good cluster with some nodes, and you can rely on that cluster. So as long as we are talking about many kind of huge applications, I really believe that those features are searched for enterprise companies, especially big ones.
But would you use Java EE for a pet project? Like you would like to implement something on a weekend? Will you still choose Java EE or something else?
Yes, actually, I did many times on my career. I worked as a freelancer many years, and I use it for pet projects. For just do this little module for me,
Mhm.
and I use it. And I don't see any problem for that. To use Java for that.
Yeah, but you could use something funkier, but you still, decided to use a boring stuff. Why?
Man, I really enjoy it. I think that we have a specification that is standardized. Uh, Anyone can implement it. Any vendor, for example, can implement it. Uh, we are having for example MicroProfile, that it's a real new kind of new stuff on the microservice approach that is born from the Java EE. So we have a whole ecosystem that can really uh, allow that new stuff has think about it. So well, I still would choose Java for that.
Okay. So in 2006, I remember exactly the date. I also started a pet project, and what I wanted to do is to implement a control for a heating of a house, so to make it more intelligent. And on purpose, because I'm a Java developer, I didn't want it to use Java. So back then, 2006, Ruby on Rails was huge. So I said, okay, I will try to do it with Ruby on Rails. So first I started with a table. I think the name of the table was hitting item, and this Rails failed completely back then because it should be hitting items, and from the arrows it was really hard to grasp. So then I found it out, so I just was able to do it with hitting items. Then I wanted to access a database, and this was back then was really hard to find a driver. So I only was able to find a driver for, I think, was MySQL, but it was nothing for Postgres. So I struggle with that a little bit. And when it completely failed was I had to use the COM to the serial, the serial port in order to talk to the hitting control. And I supposed to do it on a weekend, and I couldn't. I said, okay, now enough with the funky technology. And the next weekend, I started with Java EE. And what I remember back then, I think it was Java E5 was on the horizon. And I used a pre-release from JBoss. And not even the dependency injection worked properly because this EGB was in wrong package or something like this. But since I was able right away, use JPA to read and write from the table, then I found in a book a driver to the serial port. So I used that. And on a weekend, I have a working prototype. So for me, I always use Java EE for boring or for my pet projects, because I could more freely think about the business problem, and I didn't have to think at all about the boring Java EE stuff, because I knew everything is there and would just work. So this is actually what I really excited about Java EE and Java, because I know if someone asks me about something, I can estimate in a few minutes whether it is actually doable or not. And with the other technologies, it is not always the case that it actually at the end you will find something which will work, right?
Yeah, you have actually many stuff that are abstracted from you as a developer, so you don't need to start really from the scratch. You have many things that are available in the environment for you.
Mm-hmm. And you started. You said you had 20 years of Java experience, so you started with JDK 1.0.
Yeah, actually, one, two, like just like around that time.
What was your first application, or your first test project? Or whatever you wrote. What was the first view lines in Java? You remember that?
Well, I was working with Visual Basic on that time, and I just did some kind of standalone project there. I really don't remember exactly, but I remember that moving from that first project, we have a small one using just servlet and JSP a couple of times after.
This was later, I think. So the servlets came 1997 or something.
Yeah. But the very first one, I really don't remember.
Oh man! But, so mine was
I'm getting old.
Mine was applets, of course.
Oh, applet.
Yeah.
I use the applet on this second one for logging.
Okay. And then why you stick with Java?
Well, I really was looking for something that my career could rely on from the course of the years. So people sometimes complain that Java is not so fast to evolve. Is not that very new trending that is hot right now. We took a little time to get into the Java, but as we think that Java is since the day one a technology for production stuff, I don't think that this little time that things need to come into the technology is a bad thing, but it's a good thing at the end of the day, because as I said on the last question, it's something that mainly the enterprise corporations rely on, So when I think about my career, I think that Java is something that we can see long years for evolvement, for technology growing, for adding new stuff when they are really ready to be put on the technology, on the specification. So we have, for example, options of different VMs, but we know that each VM, when I put my code in that VM, it will run on any operation system. So for the point of view of my career, I think that Java is a good way to know that I can choose and say and maybe be sure that we'll have some years of investment of my time, of the jobs that I work, the projects. Mm-hmm. So for from the point of view of my career, for that time, I thought that was the best option, and today I'm pretty sure that I was correct.
Yeah.
What about you?
About me. I was. I have to admit, as Java came out, I was C++ developer, and a young C++ developer, someone said, "Okay, the through or object-oriented stuff is called Oak," and it came out. So Oak was before. I don't know actually how they find it out, but then it was renamed to Java, and I started with JavaONE 0 beta or something. It was 1995. Because from 1997 I'm a freelancer, so it has to be around 1995. And what I liked with Java is it deeply impressed me everything from the branding, with the coffee and the Duke and the applets and Sun microsystems and the servers. So the whole environment was like from an alien planet. This was the impression. Back then, I used, VI and C++ and Linux, and it was exciting, but not as, the new fresh web world. And I just like that. I don't know why. And then my first project were, of course, some applets, e-commerce. Then I wrote a chat with RMI backend, content management systems, and so forth. And I stick with Java since then, not because I still like that, because I got more and more requests. So I was somehow forced to use Java. And at the beginning, my plan was to learn as many programming language as possible. But now I know after 20 years it's actually not really possible to be master in all programming languages. So I'm already really struggling with Java and JavaScript to be good with it. And I cannot just imagine to learn, another 10 programming languages and be good programming them, using them. So for me, it was like a little strange relation with Java. At the beginning, I was deeply impressed with the full environment design and whatever. The whole thing was really impressed me. I don't know why. It was like from the beginning, it was a strange relation to Java.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And you wanted me. So the story of the podcast was last year, around, I think after JavaONE, you wrote me an email and you wanted to ask me questions for a conference. And my answer was, I have my mailbox is full. I have no time to answering emails, but we can record a small podcast and you can ask me whatever you like and I will try to answer, to do it interview. So do you still remember the questions? If you like, we can do it right now. If not,
yeah, sure.
So ask me whatever you like, and so we can complete this task.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, thank you for accepting. It was a pleasure to be with you on that I know, not like a talk, but was a real big forum that we have on JavaONE. And by that time, we was just get known about Jakarta EE. We didn't have that name still on that opportunity. But Oracle has announced that was moving Java EE to Eclipse Foundation, and many people with doubts why and when and how and so on. But my first question is, what do you think about this movement? from Java EE to Eclipse, now to Jakarta EE. What do you think about the first time that you realize it?
So there are two sides. So first, I'm one of the few people out there who probably believe that the Oracle was really good steward of Java EE. So I know the spec leads, and I have to say all of them were brilliant. So they had Bill Shannon and Linda de Michael, and there was the other gal from the EJB spec, and Martina Vatkina back then. And all these people from this was actually prior Sun people now working for Oracle, which is brilliant. And I was expert group member of many of these specs, but I have to say I was, without any major contributions, I was really pleased with the outcome. Even if it was slow, it's not like I missed something. I was really always pleasantly surprised what Oracle or Sun could achieve back then. Now, what I also recognize, because most of the spec leads worked on different projects, Java E8 was late. So this was the issue, and Oracle didn't communicate that very well, and the whole community thought Java is dead. So for me, it was still non-issue, because I was very pleased with Java E7, still I am, and I didn't miss anything. So I was hyper-productive, I would say, in my projects. So whether Java E8 would come on time or not, but I recognize there is an issue. And with the move to Jakarta EE and Eclipse, and on the other hand, the Jakarta EE name is brilliant. So EE for J would be a huge mistake, I would say. So Jakarta EE, I really like the name. It's a historical name. Back then, jakarta.apache.org hosted all the Java-related projects. So with that move, I think the whole backlash on Java EE was resolved. So it was very good for marketing. And therefore for the project. What I joined the mailing list in Jakarta EE, and what I'm a little bit afraid of is the whole discussion right now. We have to introduce profiles, but we don't know the names, and we need profiles to be more lightweight. And then I ask, what you are missing? Is Java EE too heavyweight? No, it isn't, but the perception is it is. So we have to introduce profiles, but we don't know the names yet, so it's not like we shouldn't do something just to be good for the marketing. We should do something to be good for developer ergonomics and to support developers' productivity. So we should remain pragmatic. So this is my bigger concern in Jakarta right now. Not that it becomes, a playground for modularization and whatever. And we forget, the target, which is it should remain boring technology, which is hyper productive.
Right, true. And I don't know, you're done with this?
Yeah,
okay. I was following this thread about profiles, and I saw many different opinions and so on. But what do you think about profiles? You think that we should stick with profiles, or with the modularization, maybe in the future we don't need them anymore? What do you think about profiles?
I think what we need first is I would call it like the main profile. So I think we need profiles first. So, but my approach to profile would be a slightly different. So I would first set up a main profile. It's the first profile. And the main profile, I would try to deprecate as many technologies as possible, like, for instance, SOAP, probably even EJB if we move the annotations to CDI. And whatever is not needed, I would just deprecate it from the main profile. Having that said, I will introduce a profile with a negative name at the same time and call it, for instance, legacy profile. And this legacy profile would include everything. So SOAP, EJBs, and whatever is now in Java 8, it will be in the legacy profile. And then I will stop. Probably. So if you really need it, I would create like essential profile, and this would only include, for instance, JSR 330 with this is the CD at inject, not even CDI. So and interceptors, but this something like like the core. And then I will stop, and any other profile, I would create like a spreadsheet and say, okay, if you would like to have a profile, first, I would require you to give me a use case. What is the use case this profile is going to be solved? And the use case has to be a nice name. I think MicroProfile is not enough, because microservice profile, not MicroProfile, don't mean MicroProfile IO, rather microservice profile, is not enough because it doesn't mean anything. I would expect messaging profile or something like that. And then if everyone sees the conclusions and the argumentation is logical, then we could introduce the profile. But if not, I would just don't introduce the profile. So I would try to keep the core as lean as possible and introduce profiles on real demand, not just because we can do this.
Okay, got it.
So, agree. Yeah, it should be, it should remain boring.
Yeah, true. Well, but we are maybe talking about the future here, but right now we are in the middle of this process of transferring from Oracle to Eclipse Foundation. So, and people claim in the past that Oracle, was not going fast enough in the evolution. So, what do you think about the Eclipse Foundation? You think that we will have more agility on the new implementations, on the next, maybe on Jakarta EE? We think that we are going to have best involvement from the community. What are those points to think about this migration?
So the migration is a huge undertaking. I don't think it's over. So there is still TCKs and whatever has to be migrated. It was never done before. I think this is one of the largest Eclipse projects so far. And it is too early to tell, because right now there's lots of discussion and we are migrating, but nothing new happens. On the other hand, what I'm deeply impressed with is the pace MicroProfile is going. So they had 4 releases in 2017 with really added value. So, and this is also a solution to the problem. So if Jakarta EE will move too slowly, we still have MicroProfile which could move quicker.
Yeah, true. Yeah, fine. And well, we are. Last week we have here in Brazil the Oracle Open World Brazil. Maybe some stuff that we will see in San Francisco in October. Maybe we saw here, and I saw a lot of people talking about cloud native. And cloud native is something that Eclipse is trying to attach to Jakarta EE. What do you think about it? You think that we are going to have maybe on the future versions, or on the other hand, maybe Jakarta EE is already cloud native capable? What do you think about it? How's your vision about cloud native applications?
Actually, before this talk today, I was in a conference call with my clients, talking about Jenkins pipeline for cloud-native Java EE apps, Java E8. Java E7 apps, not Java 8 yet. They will come soon. So actually, all my projects are cloud-native. And I don't even know what has to be done, because what cloud-native actually means, it has to be configured from outside. There's a 12-factor apps. And by definition, most of the OpenShift, for instance, OpenShift applications are cloud-native. Or if you put something to Oracle Container Cloud, is also cloud-native, has to be, otherwise it wouldn't work. So I don't even know what has to be done, because the only thing what you have to do in cloud-native world is to inject configuration from the environment, from the operating system. So this is what we always do. And what could be improved, of course, is the staging configuration of the applications, as on the staging configuration. The configuration of the application servers, which is supported already by most of the application servers. For instance, the Payara provides placeholders. OpenLiberty supports placeholders, which are automatically resolved with the environment entry. So this is what is needed for staged environment. So we have it already. What we don't have is not standardized yet, but this is what I think the config in Jakarta EE, which is discussed right now in the mailing lists, and what could also MicroProfile do. So I think there's almost nothing to be done in cloud native environment. I don't know what's lacking. So I already used Java EE with Kubernetes in the clouds, and it works since Java 7, not even Java 8. Of course, one thing which will help is Java 8 and JWT token. So this is actually a really nice integration of token-based authentication in microservices. This will help in Cloud Native, and in MicroProfile we have Open API, which generates the Open API from REST endpoints, which will also help Cloud Native applications. So these are two very useful things. And metrics are already available. And actually, by the way, by most application servers, they were always available. So performance metrics. I think my first talk about performance metrics on application servers was even more than 5 years ago in JavaONE. So I will have to check it out. So more than 5 years. This is like, it was as Oracle bought Sun. This was my first talk about this topic. And right now, this is more formalized because we have the Matrix API in MicroProfile. So I think there is lots to be done to be streamlined. So what we could move, we can remove superfluous APIs from the core, and we can, But right now, my apps are cloud native already, and there was not a lot to do.
Yeah, great. And talking about a little about career, we have, I don't know, there in Europe, but here in Brazil and Latin America, I saw many young developers talking that we won't start with Java EE because it's difficult to learn and it's boring, and how do you see with this new movement? I saw many people trying to contribute on Jakarta right now. The lists are really a lot of content being spread and many opinions, many answers, replies, and so on. How do you say about career? If for people that are starting from scratch, it's a good technology for starting. It's not. What do you think about it?
It was, I think, 4 years ago. A student joined my workshop. Workshops at Munich Airport, airhacks.com. And he asked me, Java is great, exactly the same question. And he would like to stick with Java EE because it's really productive, and whether he should be, go the freelance road with Java EE. So I guess it's really hard to tell because freelancing is it could be great, but it's also tough. So it really depends on your personality, right? So there was no advice, but he did it. And now his career skyrocketed. You know probably Sebastian Daschner, right? And now he is, I would say, Java rock star. He has lots of projects. He does, cloud native with Java EE. He's a bright guy, young guy, and one of the most famous developers in Germany, I would say, if not worldwide. He does some tours in Japan, and I would say his career is brilliant. I mean, there is, and he's very successful. I met him in a conference this spring, and he seems to be very satisfied with the decision, and he just enjoys that. So, and if you look at the Java EE, it is not hard to learn Java EE because the APIs, I would say, are more or less trivial, except the old Corba in JNDI, but you don't have to learn it right now. And what you learn are the concepts, and regardless whether you use Java EE or Node.js or Go or Vertex or something else, you will still have to understand, what caching does to consistency, and whether local transaction, distributed transaction could even work. And this is where you are confronted in Java EE from day one. And the other technologies, they hide it a little bit, and later you run into bigger problems if you don't consider these principles from day one. So I would say, or what I also did, I showed without telling what it is Java EE to startups, and in all projects so far it was taken. And they asked me, why it is so great, why it's so productive, what is it? And then I told them, okay, it's Java EE. It's like, we don't care, it's just great. So I have several projects with startups. They run on-premise and in the cloud, and they chosen Java EE without knowing that it's Java EE. We only had a workshop, and I hacked with them a quick prototype, and they were delighted. And they even asked me, why is the performance so great? We do nothing and it just runs again. I mean, because you do nothing, you just focus on the business logic and you don't try to be funky with patterns. You just do your stuff. So for me, it's a no-brainer. And but I also see that, for instance, so Node, I would say Node was very popular, but right now the popularity a little bit goes back. So this is my observation. And now Rust or Go is gaining momentum. Also Rust even more than Go. And the question is now, would you like to follow all the technologies every 2 years and switch completely the programming languages? If you stick with Java EE, you will learn the concepts and then you can switch to whatever you like. And also, my observation is I do lots of JavaScript right now, and the longer I wait, the longer JavaScript looks like Java. So the funny stuff is TypeScript in Java becomes more and more TypeScript and JavaScript. They become more and more like Java.
Oh, great! Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know TypeScript, never tried, but I saw a lot of people try and talk about it. Have you tried?
Yeah, I use it in projects. I try to stick with the standard JavaScript, so ES6. This is what I do in my commercial projects. And I use TypeScript because I had to use it. I use it in Angular 2 project. Now it's Angular 4, 5, or 6. So I had to use it, and it's fine. I use a subset of TypeScript and ES6. I use it all the time. So ES6, ECMAScript is the new JavaScript. And it looks like Java. Yeah? I really like it because it's like Java. So this is what I do actually, Java and JavaScript.
Okay. Let me check here. Oh, wow. What about serverless? Have you tried something? Have you done something real in production? Because I have seen a lot of training around serverless, but I know a few projects using. Have you used it in some projects, in some of your user cases?
Serverless is more about business concept. I used that several times, mainly on stage of Oracle Open World Code in Berlin and Berlin and the other city I actually forgot. So Warsaw, yeah, exactly, two times. And I used the FN project from GitHub, so it's the open source Oracle project. And what I did then, I combined actually serverless with JavaE. So I use CDI and JSONB inside serverless functions. And for most of my project, this serverless does not matter at all because we have a consistent load. And if you don't have, serverless is better if you have, peaks, or at least, if your function is invoked, several times a day. So your server don't have to wait to run the whole time. If you have a constant stream of transactions, then your functions are going to be invoked all the time. And if they're invoked all the time, there is actually no benefit of having functions because there is no time where they actually go down. They are called hot functions, so they run all the time, and you will have to pay per request. So, but I see the point if you have payment gateways or PDF conversions or whatever. You can use just server functions. And for me, they are, from the conceptual perspective, very similar to message-driven beans.
Okay, got it. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. How do you see the future? What do you expect for the next few years? About Jakarta and the market, what are your expectations?
So, my observation is that most of my clients, and the clients are larger companies in Europe, are more and more interested in solutions, not technology. And they were a little bit burnt with constant migration in the JavaScript ecosystem, and I think they expect a little bit, I would say, stability and commoditization of the technologies. So I think JavaE does great because it didn't evolve that fast, which makes it perfect choice. Because right now it's not like we are missing a lot. It's more like you have carefully pick what is the next step, and if we market it and make it more interesting also to developers, which Jakarta EE it actually does, or MicroProfile, so that they could also contribute their ideas, then the future is, of course, bright. Jakarta EE. And even we even have Microsoft as a partner. I think Microsoft will also is part of the Jakarta EE ecosystem. And what I expect in Java EE, I think better integration. There will be probably more integration with Docker, Kubernetes, because there's almost standards right now. So there will be more low-level integrations. But having said that, I think no one questions the power, productivity, and efficiency of JVM itself. So it is great. The only problem could be is the overhead of the virtual machine itself, which Oracle is also working on. It is not my problem or problem from my clients, because in my eyes, the overhead of 100 megs per process is nothing, because RAM is going to be cheaper and cheaper. The real problem is the architectural choice. For instance, some projects are starting, sidecars, microservices. So they actually deploying already several processes per microservice. And then, of course, it sums up that could be that you have several processes per microservice, but this is not what I'm doing. I'm still running just one application server without any sidecars. So for me, the future is bright, but as you probably know, the success of a technology is not how good it is rather than perception of the market or marketing. Otherwise, we would have, 20 years ago, Betamax would win and not VHS.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you talk about VM, and I'm sure that you saw GraalVM that was released like 1 month or 2 months ago. I don't know. Do you see any relationship between Java EE and GraalVM with these polyglot features and so on?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, because Nashorn is going to be deprecated probably. This is the JavaScript, and the GraalVM right now has already a very capable JavaScript implementation. So we could use this instead. And what you will get, for instance, we could tightly integrate Node.js with Jakarta EE, which could be really interesting. For instance, what I already experimented with is I used my build system for my front end runs on Graal, no more on Node.js, which is interesting. So I think because we have more and more Node.js apps deployed already, Graal could be used actually as an integration point between Node.js and Jakarta EE. So there are actually more possibilities. And of course, one day we could implement the services with different language. I'm not really interested in. I'm just very pleased with Java 8 and Java 9 and 10. But if someone doesn't like the Java syntax, could use something different. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, sure. And do you think that this movement for Java EE to Jakarta to Eclipse for a foundation, do you think that we are going to have the same movement for SE in the future? Maybe Oracle would donate, I don't know, in the future, Java SE to some kind of foundation.
But they already have the OpenJDK, right? So the question is there something left to do? And it really depends on Oracle's strategy. So which to me is not clear right now. For instance, as you probably aware, they renamed the JavaONE to Oracle Code. Now the question to you, was it a good idea?
Well, for my perspective, and taking off my Oracle badge here right now.
Okay.
I wasn't very happy in the first moment, because JavaONE has a long story. The branding, since even the JavaONE branding was very strong. And I think that it was already a very open conference. We had for many years different technologies beyond Java, but going to this new world, I believe that we have a clear, more open-ended conference. Sounds good to me. They said that they will accept Go talks and some Node, JavaScript, and so on. So well, I'm really excited. I believe that will work well because I believe that in the long run, maybe the brand JavaONE would fail. But yeah, I believe it will be good.
So
What about you?
yeah, I thought a lot about this. For me personally, it's actually good because I submitted some talks this year. Yeah, I have no idea whether they are going to be taken or not, but accepted or not. But some talks about just ES6. What I do actually the same thinking of Java EE I'm applying to the front end. What happens if you delete all the frameworks and stick with standards? This has nothing to do with Java, so it fits perfectly well with Oracle code. So this is, from my perspective, is positive for me, and is good for my business. But I think it's a huge mistake, and why is I observed the audience during my talks, and I see recurring faces, and we had some chats afterwards, and they were usually enterprise developers from USA. So I never saw them before. I only saw them on JavaONE. And I saw them, over and over again. It seems like they submitted, they got approved the attendance to JavaONE each year because it was JavaONE. I think they won't attend anymore. So there were lots of enterprise developers who actually were good for the business from Oracle, who will not attend the JavaONE conference. And Oracle Code, I like the name really because the name is brilliant. The problem is the name Oracle. And what I suspect is there will be not that many Go and Rust developers as Oracle hopes, because I guess Rust developers would be more on the Mozilla conferences and Go developers more on Google conferences. And the remaining developers will probably attend the Oracle conferences. So this is my suspicion. So I would suspect the Oracle code will shrink, and I'm just afraid that the Oracle code name branding is not as funky that it will actually attract fresh Go and Rust developers, and the the experienced Java and Java EE developers won't attend Oracle code anymore because there is no more JavaONE. And I have to say, JavaONE was a huge branding. I actually thought about whether I should submit something to Oracle Code. I was actually say, okay, now do I have to travel, to USA just to attend Oracle Code? I just did it to see what happens. I would like one time to see how the conference feels and looks like, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I thought in the first moment is that they maybe should announced this year on the conference for the next year. I don't know, because while the conference is going on, maybe they announced that it will change on the next year. The way that they did this year, maybe we was caught on surprise, and well, that was my feeling.
Yeah, and they should probably would be they could actually extract the JavaONE from the Oracle world, just create standalone JavaONE conference, even if it's smaller. And on top of it, Oracle code. I think this would be the best.
Yeah.
Then you will have the JavaONE, the JavaONE branding, and see what happens. And if the JavaONE will shrink from year to year, then they could say, look, JavaONE shrinks, we kill it, now come everyone over to Oracle code. This would be probably the approach. But my observation is the more Oracle tries to optimize JavaONE, the smaller it gets.
Yeah, true. Well, Adam, I think that was my questions. I don't know if you have
it seems like you've wrote a Java 8 book, right?
Yeah, just like 1 or 2 months before the last JavaONE, I was invited by PacketPub for writing a cookbook about Java E8.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, very happy about it. Never expected it before. Well, I was happy. It was like a dream come true for me. And it was released on last April. I don't know if you know a conference here in Brazil, it's the Developers Conference. It's a big one in Latin America. We have 3 editions. They have 20,000 attendees, And on April we have one edition in Florianopolis, that's a city, beautiful city in Brazil, and it was released right there. And well, I'm happy about it.
And what's inside?
Well, it's organized around the real use cases. You know, it's a cookbook. They call it recipes. So we have I have covered mostly the new APIs or the APIs that was updated, like JAX-RS, JSF, HTTP2, yes, with Servlet 4. And security, and we have also a chapter about cloud with containers, and covered the containers experience in some of the biggest vendors. And yeah, we have like I don't know the real count, but like 80 recipes, 70 or 80 recipes around the book in the 12 chapters.
Yeah, that's nice. And is the book successful?
I really don't know the numbers, because the package only sent me the results on quarters, and we still didn't finish the first quarter. But I saw on the Amazon last week, and for Java books, it was in the hundreds or 200s. I don't remember exactly. I don't know if it's good or bad, but you know, I'm just happy that it was released. So I will see the real numbers on maybe this next month.
Okay. Now, where people can find you on the internet, or if you have something to promote, just do it.
Yeah, well, I have my personal blog. It's about Java EE. It's eldermorais.com. I have also my Twitter, that is elderjava, @elderjava. They are my main internet story. And I have also my GitHub, that's Elder Morais. These three places are fair enough to find me.
Okay, cool. So thank you for the chat.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for accepting, and hope you the best.
Cool.